All right, ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts as now we are going to begin with our string of fireside chats, which is going to demystify the length, the breadth, the different facets of the HVAC and our industry. The first topic of the day for the fireside chat is going to be revolutionizing cold chain. And it's going to be actually exploring the challenges, the opportunities, and the entrepreneurial insights in the refrigeration industry. I would, at this juncture, request Mr. Akash Verma to take us through this highly engaging fireside chat that he'll be actually maneuvering with Mr. Rajat Gupta, who is an inspiring entrepreneur and a true pioneer in cold chain technology space. He founded Tessol in 2013 with a goal to create a sustainable farm-to-fork cold chain in India. Under his leadership, Tessol has earned recognition as a leader in energy efficient and sustainable cold chain technology. So without further ado, I give the stage to Mr. Verma and Mr. Gupta.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. Everybody is awake? जाग रहे हैं, superb. यार अभी तक सब ये कह रहे थे hot industry, cool people. ये जो सेशन है ना, ये cool people का नहीं है, ये very very cool people का है. Because ये एक सेशन है जिसमें आपको जो रेफ्रिजरेशन इंडस्ट्री से आज यहाँ पे बैठे हैं वो यहाँ पे दिलचस्पी लें और सुनें और समझें और भाग लें और सीखें, और जो एयर कंडीशनिंग इंडस्ट्री से यहाँ पे बैठे हैं और रेफ्रिजरेशन में आना चाहते हैं क्योंकि इमेंस अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ आने वाली हैं, वो भी आज सुनें समझें और कुछ यहाँ से लेके जाइए. तो इसका मतलब ये है कि सबको कंपलसरी ये प्रोग्राम में भागीदार और एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेशन सुनना पड़ेगा और एंजॉय करना पड़ेगा. आर यू ऑल विद मी? थैंक यू. सो लेट मी वेलकम रजत को मैं इंट्रोड्यूस करना चाहता हूँ. रजत इज एन इंस्पायरिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर, a true pioneer in the cold chain technology space. Rajat Gupta founded Tessol in 2013 with a visionary goal to create a sustainable farm-to-fork cold chain in India. Under his leadership, Tessol has earned recognition as a leader in energy-efficient and sustainable cold chain solutions. Rajat brings extensive experience from the energy sector across India, Europe, and the US, having worked with early-stage startups and global corporations such as Robert Bosch. With a background in product design, technology, commercialization, and market entry strategy, he has been instrumental in shaping the clean tech landscape. As an entrepreneur in residence at Infuse Ventures, Rajat launched India's first clean tech venture accelerator, connecting the country's top startups and mentors. He holds a mechanical engineering degree from IIT Delhi and an MBA from Harvard Business School. Please join me in welcoming Rajat Gupta to the stage.
Thank you, Akash.
So मैं रजत को I think 2013 में ही मिला होगा. That is the friendship that we have. And जब मैं इनको पहली बार मिला ना, मुझे लगा एक हवा का झोंका आया, इंडस्ट्री में, a whiff of fresh air. मैं कहा ये बंदा यार कुछ तो करके दिखाएगा. Thank you Rajat for the trust and the first thought that came to my mind when I met you.
That's so kind of you.
So वाह रजत बाबू, IIT दिल्ली से engineering, Harvard से MBA, ये cold chain space क्यों यार?
First of all, thank you so much for having me here. Amongst all of you entrepreneurs, I'm a very new entrepreneur. Of course, I'll be senior to Angad, but but still, What Angad said about us, the quality of what we breathe, cold chain is all about the quality of what we eat. And it's important for us to realize कि हम कई बार सुनते हैं कि हम जूता जो एयर कंडीशन दुकान से खरीदते हैं, सब्जी सड़क से खरीदते हैं, right? So what we eat is essentially something that actually impacts our life throughout, and the level of importance that we unfortunately give to that is very, very low. Well, this is more philosophical. This is not exactly why I came into cold chain industry. I came into cold chain industry because when my interest was in the energy space, and when I graduated from HBS, I joined a Boston-based startup, and they were actually working in the milk cooling space and creating very small milk coolers remotely set up across the country. And that was my first introduction to cold chain. I thought that this was an industry which is small and unfortunately remains small. In the introduction of HVAC and R, if the space is short, you'll kind of lose the and R. Right? So it's a very small industry, but I think it has the potential to scale very, very fast. And for people who are actually interested in building businesses that I am, right? I am interested in this industry. There is tremendous scope for innovation. There is tremendous scope for standardization. There's tremendous scope for building products and solutions that the country will require. Because for our kind of an industry, our kind of a country where retail is highly fragmented, where production is highly fragmented, the copy-paste solutions from the West don't work. They have never worked, and they will continue to not work, and people will keep doing jugaad. So innovation is key in this industry. I think if somebody enters into this industry at this point of time also, I think there's tremendous scope. And I'll actually pitch it to everyone to seriously look at this industry as one of the growth engines.
Chalo, Raja, thank you. Good to know कि आप क्यों cold chain industry में आए. A cold chain industry is supposed to be a very traditional manufacturing industry, right? Why did you come and finger around and use all these innovations and all in this industry? Please tell us the journey of Tessol and what did you do in terms of innovation in this industry?
So I think it's the benefit and curse of being an outsider. When you come as an outsider into the industry, you look at it with a very fresh perspective. When we came into the industry, the only way we could find a space for ourselves was to innovate and to find things that did not have a solution. So we started looking at that. Innovation comes as a core to us. That is what excites us. And for us, innovation is way beyond invention. So invention is primarily about products, technology, etc. But innovation has many more aspects. It has things like how does it really fit into the user's work environment? How does it really fit into the user's way in which things are done? How does it? How does the business model impact the overall economics? And unfortunately, in our industry, we are working with very, very value for money products. Nobody will look at a cold chain evaporator and say, "Boss, I'll pay 20% more for it." Right? So unfortunately, we are there. So everything that we do in terms of innovation in India has been value driven, has been, but has to have the reliability of a cold chain product. So it's like industrial product at a household price, and that's what innovation needed to be brought in. I'll give you a very simple example. The only way in 2016-17, when we were working with some of the e-commerce companies, the only way to move perishable products used to be a refrigerated truck. And if you have to do home deliveries in a refrigerated truck, it's going to be very, very difficult because you have to deliver, one slab of butter, two paneer, all of that. So it's not going to be possible. And there we started working with these companies and identifying and using our technology. So we were sitting with the technology of energy storage. So we said, okay, why don't we put it together? And we created a passive cooled solution, which has evolved over the last 4 or 5 years. It has actually now become the basic solution using which e-commerce companies deliver products to all of us at home, whether you take Zepto, you take Blinkit, Zomato, whoever it is, uses passive cool solutions. But this has evolved, started in 2018 when people from Amazon actually used to come and sit in our little factory and try and keep on doing trials. So the solution has gone through, and the whole innovation is not a time constrained process. So once you build something, you have to keep innovating. So while we have now built solutions that all e-commerce companies use, we are also now understanding how to further scale them up. And by building in new business models where we actually operate these units, we rent these units, so that we can penetrate the market much faster and much better.
Talking about those packets that come with the ice cream, right? That's what you were talking about.
Yes.
I think we as Indians know how to reuse it and keep it in our freezer and use it when we get a headache or some pain, and we also use, I think, the same packets right now. Yeah, okay, on a serious note, so innovations are great, I mean, but there's a risk, right? I mean, it's a hit and miss. So have you had innovations where you've gone wrong while you were in this space?
Absolutely, I think more times wrong than right. But now what we've done is we've sort of built a very simple framework on which we evaluate any new solution that we are building for the market. And while whenever you're building a product, you're always talking about the value proposition, the relative advantage, whether it'll save you money, it'll give you performance. So relative advantage is something that all of us know, and it's important. But there are three other elements that we look at when we look at any product. One is the complexity of the use of the product. Right? If the product is excellent and it gives you a lot of benefit, but it's complex to use, people will not use it. You've seen that with Angad's presentation as well, right? It's complex to use, people don't use it. Second is compatibility. Compatibility with the way I do things. If I do things a certain way, I will not change the way I do it. Right? That is a core mentality of all of us. And that match is a very, very important aspect for us when we do any kind of innovation or building. And then finally, you look at the observability of the benefit. So for example, if I'm making a difference of 0.5% in your overall costs, maybe you will not bother going for my innovation. Right? So we did things in the past. We had something which worked very well on paper. We had a remote charging system for our trucks. So the weight on the truck will not come. You could have a lower capex for multiple trucks. But the whole thing didn't work because the context, the conditions in which the Indian environment works, there's a lot of dust, people were not skilled, people would keep changing, and so there were a lot of breakdowns. So there are a lot of experiments that we have had to stop, lose money, but that's a part of the journey.
So just talking about infrastructure, what is it that you felt have been the challenges in terms of infrastructure, especially in the rural areas when you've been working?
In the rural areas, so India has a plethora of challenges. Infrastructure is very, very basic, and even in the best of places, you've got voltage fluctuations. The quality of power and the availability of power is one of the key issues which is rampant across. Besides that, one of the topics that was covered here also, the lack of skilled operators and maintenance people, which is a major issue. Even manufacturers don't have it. I don't know how will users get the kind of people, right? Third is the availability of sort of logistics infrastructure, trucking, parking spots, so charging, etc. has been very, very tough. But these are all opportunities, right? There are companies that have built these small, decentralized, solar-powered cold storages that are now being promoted by the government, put all across the country. Whether it is a great value for money, something that one needs to understand. But this is an opportunity that they found, and they've been able to create a reasonably decent business out of it. So I think the challenges that are there in the cold chain industry are for real, but that is the opportunity for all of us to look at.
Thanks, Raja. That was quite inciting. Just tell me, in terms of the environmental impact in the cold chain industry, how has Tessol been able to address it, especially in this transport refrigeration? As we all know, the traditional way has been where there's a lot of impact on the environment. So how has Tessol played a role in that?
The first product that we started with was a plug-in truck. A plug-in truck, essentially you have to plug in the truck instead of, so the traditional reefer systems have a diesel engine which keeps running, and that keeps running the compressor and provides cooling inside, like a regular AC as well. But this consumes a lot of diesel during the trip. We created the first product, which was a plug-in, where you plug the vehicle to a regular 3-phase or a single-phase socket, and it charges in about 4 to 5 hours. It gives you another 10 to 12 hours, which is now extended to 24, 30 hours now. But it gives you that kind of a range where you can get cooling without any additional fuel required. Now, that per truck, we were able to reduce the fuel consumption on an annual basis by about 1,500 liters. So 1,000 trucks of this type would be about 1.5 million liters of diesel wiped out of the cold chain. So the impact, we recently got that evaluated by a third party funded by IFC, and we had a 75% reduction in the cost of operations. We had a 65% reduction in the energy used and a 25% reduction in the GHG emission. Unfortunately, the power that you may get in India is very polluted anyways, which is why the percentage of reduction in GHG is lower versus diesel. But otherwise, I think the numbers are there for everyone to see. And I want to reiterate that if you look at the opportunity, there's significant amount of delta that these that technologies can actually make in the cold chain, because it is inherently very inefficient.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to say, Rajat, is that in case you are looking at the refrigeration business, it's always good to look for a sustainable and something that will help in the energy efficiency going forward. Otherwise, that is a no-brainer. That is not going to stay for long. Just tell us, how has technology, IoT, data science worked in this space?
See, data science has actually helped you differentiate the good from the bad in the industry. Because अभी तक क्या है कि आपके पास में घर में जब खाना आता है, वैसे आप उसको छू के देखते हो ठंडा है कि नहीं है, तो ठीक है, थोड़ा ठंडा है चलेगा. That's how the industry was doing. Right? You can't expect the industry to be so lax in terms of the overall level of compliance and seriousness of what they're dealing with, right? And that has been a major concern. So what you can't measure, you can't control. And that's been the advocacy that we have put from our side everywhere, all the time. The digital revolution and whatever the advancements and technologies have actually made IoT very, very cost effective. In a way that right now we give these systems free with our product. The reason why we give it free with our product is because of the same thing, right? Like Angad said, you get to know whether somebody is using it or not. It helps you differentiate a less efficient product from a more efficient product. And so tomorrow I can say that I gave you a more efficient product, you can see the number, right? You can see whether the product performs or it doesn't perform. Half of the cold storages that people have set up have been set up in a way that where you have a certain design load, but once it starts operating, it's a bloody different ball game altogether. It never performs. So you don't get to differentiate the good from the bad. So I think it is a most important ingredient which will actually build this industry further. It will create new opportunities. There was one, so there's a wireless sensor that we sell, and we sold it to a medical company. And after a month, I realized that I was not getting more units. I had committed much more, but I was not getting those. So after a lot of discussion, I basically understood that they had such low compliance that they couldn't put a logger inside. Because if they put the logger inside, it's a compliance issue for them. So we then started building a new packaging solution. We are also into temperature controlled packaging. So we built a new packaging solution for them to bring up the compliance. And now we are deploying almost about 1,000 riders with them with the same solution. So I think for us personally, this has been a great way of identifying an opportunity and showing to the customer that, see, your current thing is not working. Because otherwise, when you go and ask anyone, they will say, my stuff is working very well. 10, 12 years back, the moment you ask them, what is your milk wastage? They'll say nothing. 0.1, 0.2. It's not true. But nobody is willing to. So you need data in order to substantiate your claims and actually win business. So I prefer to sell a data logger and then go for pitching business, because I know that he knows what he has right now.
Awesome. I have 2 questions for Rajat, and I think these 2 questions will really add value to the time that we've spent over here with him. Rajat, number 1 is for all the audience over here who has been in this industry or who have the next generation coming into this industry. I want you to tell them what are the market opportunities in India and outside. Plus, I want you to tell them what are the trends that you think and you believe will shape this industry of the cold chain and the refrigeration.
So I think the trends are there for everyone to see. If you look at why cold chain has never evolved in the country, one of the key reasons is that there was no way to connect the cold products to the end customer. Because there were very few brands who could afford to install a very large number of Visi coolers and put their products inside those. And then a few options for people to buy. And anyways, the experience of using a frozen product or a chilled product wasn't great, right? Now, with the way retail has transformed, there is a lot more increase in the amount of frozen products and chilled products that are going into the market, and that is exactly why you would need a lot more cold chain. The rate of growth of cold chain is tremendous in the industry, and I think that's something which is clearly identifying. So not only the retail and the quick commerce companies require cold chain, but the people. Now there's so many companies that are small companies that are setting up freezing, blast freezers, creating frozen momos, samosas. So many brands coming up. We were in this Anuga Food Tech a few days back. It was filled with brands from Chhattisgarh, Ranchi, everywhere. And they were doing good business. So all of that is opportunity for us. So I think food processing is a key opportunity for all of us to look at. Pharmaceuticals as well, because pharmaceutical has been on a regular growth path. And going outside India, I mean, there I have limited experience, but we've done a lot of work in the Middle East, and especially Saudi Arabia looks extremely interesting for us to look at, and a few African countries.
Awesome. The last question, ladies and gentlemen, what advice would you give to our entrepreneurs who are entering the refrigeration and cold chain industry?
I don't really have the credibility to give advice to entrepreneurs who are here, who've been there, entrepreneurs for generations. I can only briefly talk about what we felt as a part of our journey. I think it's important to slot yourself into what you do best. When we started doing the products, our refrigerated products, we used to go to people, and this was like first 4-5 years of advocacy, very little business. जाके आप उसको बेचोगे, वो बोलेगा बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन मेरे लिए नहीं है अभी, ठीक है? So people kind of saw us come again and again, and they thought that ये कुछ अलग करते हैं, पता नहीं क्या करते हैं, कुछ अलग करते हैं. So people started coming back to us and asking with all kinds of random issues. I have this problem in my cold chain. Do you have a solution? I have this. I want to do this last mile delivery. Do you have a solution? And for us, it was like as if there was an ad. वो पानी का डॉक्टर, तो हम लोग cold chain के डॉक्टर जैसे बन गए थे. Anybody would come, बोलेगा ये बीमारी है, आपके पास है क्या इलाज? But that was actually very telling for us in a way that exactly was our DNA, and that is where we are now. We are positioned as a solutions provider. We are not, and we are actually getting more and more technology agnostic. We are doing solutions, and solutions across a very wide range of products. So I think it's important to realize where you are. Second thing that I found in this whole journey is building relationships, like the one that I have with you here, with me and with everyone. You are in this kind of an industry, it is one person cannot really do everything. We work with partners on a very long-term basis, and good and bad happens, but the relationships that we have in this industry are the ones, and also with our customers, are the ones that are now taking us to different levels, and that's something which takes time, but is, I think, one of the most important things that I've realized as an entrepreneur. Finally, I think it's a long haul. You have to be patient and figure out what makes most sense to you and makes you happy. And if you do that on a day-to-day basis, it's fun.
Super exciting and super successful Rajat Gupta.
Thank you so much.
He's been very modest throughout this talk. He's been saying that I can't be advising people over here. But obviously, the people who have been through tough journeys are built to last. And I have an analogy for Rajat or Tessol when I look at him. I think he is the Shah Rukh Khan of the refrigeration industry.
Wow.
So when people were testing him, he was doing 4G. Then he had his hits with Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge. He also had challenges such as My Name is Khan. And now he's mentoring people through Dear Zindagi and Chak De India. And I hope you continue to inspire the next generation to get in over here, just as he did in Om Shanti Om, bringing Deepika Padukone to this industry. Thank you very much, dear friends.
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you, Rajat, for the lovely session you've held over here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta and Mr. Verma. I'd request you to please be on stage. And if I can request Mr. Verma to present Mr. Gupta with a memento as a mark of our acknowledgement and our appreciation. So, can we have memento on stage? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Verma felicitating Mr. Gupta. We have realized one thing, Mr. Verma, that you are the Bazigar of Shah Rukh Khan movies. That is a clear-cut insight. Thank you so much.